June 13th, 1994, San Antonio, Texas. Nicholas Barclay was a 13-year-old, blue eyes, sandy blonde hair, 5 feet tall, and built like a scrappy street kid. He lived with his mother, Beverly Dahlheide, a single mom working nights to make ends meet. Their home was modest, cluttered, worn around the edges, like their family dynamic. Nicholas had a reputation. He was impulsive, defiant, quick-tempered. He'd been in trouble at school, trouble at home, and had a court hearing scheduled the very next day. The juvenile authorities were threatening to send him to a group home if his behavior didn't change. That June afternoon, Nicholas had been playing basketball with his friends at a local park. He called home around 3 p.m., asking Beverly for a ride. She was asleep, resting after a night shift. She told him to walk home. He vanished along Brom Road, just a mile or so from the safety of his front door. No one ever saw him after that. No witnesses, no evidence, no signs of struggle. It was as if Nicholas Barclay had been swallowed by the heat of the Texas sun. Nicholas had run away from home before, but only briefly, and never far. Police initially treated it as another episode in the pattern. They didn't issue an Amber Alert, they didn't organize search parties, and crucially, the media barely touched the story. But then something odd happened. Nicholas's older brother Jason told the authorities that Nicholas had returned home several days after the disappearance, only to leave again the next morning after a heated argument. No one else heard him, and the sighting was never confirmed. Still, no red flags were raised. Nicholas was marked as a runaway. The case was quietly shelved. The family moved on, or at least appeared to. But what if Nicholas didn't run away? What if the reason no one could find him was because someone didn't want him to be found? 3 years passed. Then, in October 1997, over 5,000 miles away in Linares, Spain, a call came in to local authorities. A young man had been found hiding inside a phone booth, shivering, confused, and alone. He claimed that he had escaped from a child trafficking ring operating in Europe and the Middle East. He said he had been kidnapped from the United States years earlier, taken near a military base in Texas, forced into captivity, subject to abuse so severe it altered his physical appearance. He told authorities he was Nicholas Barclay. The reaction? Immediate. Shock. Relief. Joy. The U.S. Embassy got involved. The Spanish authorities moved him into a children's shelter. They contacted Nicholas's family. And just days later, his half-sister, Carrie Gibson, was on a plane to Spain. The reunion was surreal. The boy had dark skin. His eye color was wrong. His voice had a thick European accent. And he was visibly older than 16. But Carrie didn't hesitate. She embraced him. She called him Nicholas. And the wheels were set in motion for the lost Barclay child to return home. The boy was brought back to Texas under government escort. News stations celebrated the miraculous return. The Barclay family welcomed him with open arms. They said he was traumatized, that the eye color change was from experiments his captors had performed, and that his accent was from being surrounded by French and Arabic speakers for so long. But not everyone was convinced. He didn't remember things about his old life. His mannerisms were strange. His ears didn't match previous medical records. And most of all, his demeanor was off. Not broken, not healed, but performed. A local private investigator by the name of Charlie Parker took an interest in the case. So did an FBI agent, Nancy Fisher. They dug deeper, and what they found would break the story wide open. The person who returned was not Nicholas Barclay. He was Frederick Bourdin, a 23-year-old Frenchman with a long history of impersonating lost and abused children. Authorities would later discover that he had taken on dozens of false identities over the years. This was just his most audacious performance. Bourdin admitted everything after fingerprint analysis and DNA testing exposed his lies. He was arrested. But even as he confessed, he whispered something darker. They knew. Bourdin insisted that the Barclay family had recognized him as an imposter, but accepted him anyway. Why? Because he claimed they knew Nicholas was dead and that they were hiding the truth. Bourdin accused Jason Barclay, the older brother, of having killed Nicholas in a fit of rage during an argument. He claimed the family disposed of the body and covered it up. According to Bourdin, the family accepted him not because they believed, but because pretending was safer than explaining. Jason died less than a year later of a drug overdose. He answered those allegations. No charges were filed, and the case has remained untouched. But the suspicion lingered. Why didn't the family question Bourdin more aggressively? Why accept someone so obviously different? Was it desperation, denial, or guilt? To this day, Nicholas Barclay has never been found. His case remains unsolved. Was he trafficked? Did he run further than anyone imagined? All that really remains is a trail of confusion, betrayal, and eerie stillness, and a haunting question that cuts through time. What really happened to Nicholas Barclay?